Blessings and welcome to the path to freedom. This wonderful path about us setting ourselves free, as the name implies. Setting ourselves free to forever allow for greater and grander expressions of who and what we are to emerge, to continuously expand our consciousness, lift our vibration, to a whole bunch of things. We're setting ourselves free from a whole bunch of things. We're setting ourselves free to do a whole bunch of things. This is a beautiful path. This is about freedom. Every aspect of the word. So welcome to this beautiful space. My name is Daniel Roquillo, and thank you, as always. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for doing this work. Thank you for your willingness to come into this space, to challenge old beliefs, to challenge that which no longer serves, to allow for that to bubble up into awareness where we can release and let it go. So thank you, really. We're not doing this work only for ourselves. It is for us, but as there is only the one field of consciousness, whatever we do it for all. Like that saying goes, high tide lifts all boats, says, or as I'm sometimes prone to say, that put a tea bag in a cup of warm water and it will infuse the whole cup of water, not just the one corner where we put it, if a cup had corners, but all of the water will be infused by the tea bag. So this that we are doing, it is for all of creation, because there is only the one. Today we are talking about surrender, and not so much what surrender means as what it is that we are surrendering to. But we need to start with, defining what surrender means for the purpose of this conversation. So surrender does not mean that we give up. It does not mean that we yield. It does not mean that we, forfeit. It doesn't mean that we wave the white flag and that we lay down flat on our bellies or anything like that. Surrender simply means that we move from, and I kind of like this statement. It's kind of new to me. But we move from my will be done to thy will be done. It means that we put the trust of pretty much everything in the loving hands of Spirit. Just as we're trusting that our hearts will beat when they need to, they will beat. Just as we're trusting that our lungs will breathe, and that they will extricate and extract the oxygen out of the air. Just as we're trusting that when we flip that light switch, the light will come on or come off. Or that when we press the on button on the TV remote or the computer or whatever the case may be, it'll work. Just as we're trusting that the sun will rise tomorrow. Just as we're trusting that spring will come, summer will come, or winter for those of us who like winters more than, the warm seasons. I'm more of a warm season person, so I'm not really too anxious for the winter and the cold and the darkness to arrive. But I know that there are some of us that are. So just as we're trusting that winter will come, we get to trust, we get to put every aspect of our lives in the loving hands of Spirit. Just as all of nature is trusting. A seed that either is, planted in the ground or falls to the ground is in no worry or having no fears or doubts as to whether or not I'm being accompanied by a small fly here. Is having no worries or fears or doubt as to whether or not its needs will be met. But it is in such a inherent, it's not a conscious trust, but inherent trusting space that whatever it may need to come into its greatest and grandest expression, it will be provided for. It will have it when it needs it. A sunflower seed planted in the ground does not try to figure out how to make that sunflower happen, but it is trusting. It's such an intrinsic trust, implicit trust, that whatever needs to happen is going to happen for that sunflower to emerge. And this is what we are being invited to trust. And I'm being called to speak into this because there's so much fear in the world. There's so much worry in the world. There's so much non-trusting. When there is trust, all there is peace. When there is trust, all there is joy. When there is trust, all there is wholeness. When there's trust, all there is harmony. When there's trust, all there is love. When there's not trust, and this obviously is on a sliding scale, but the less we trust, the more in fear we are. The less we trust, the more in worry we are. The less in trust, the more in distress we are. So trust is at the core. It's the foundation for the freedom that we are that we are seeking, that we are desiring, that we are allowing to come forth. So, but what is it that we are trusting? What is it that we are surrendering to? It's not a anthropomorphic man in the sky. It's not a white-bearded or gray-bearded, old man sitting up there full of judgments, full of anger, full of resentments, that is choosing people, that has favorites, that condemns those that are not loyal or faithful or whatever stories we may have grown up with. This is not what Spirit is. But Spirit is a loving presence. The same intelligence and the same loving intelligence that has given birth to everything in creation. That has given birth to this beautiful planet, Mother Earth, Gaia. That has given birth to the moon, to the sun, to every slug, to every mosquito, to every little fly like my body here, to every leaf on any tree, to every raindrop, to every cloud, to every grain of sand. And that has given birth to more stars than there are grains of sand on this planet. This loving presence, this is what we are surrendering to. The same loving intelligence that allows for nature to keep expanding. I know that we are, cutting down rainforests and we are messing it all up, but had the planet been left alone, had we, us humans, left nature alone, there would have been such a beautiful balance in nature. New species would emerge. Evolution would take place. It's still taking place. There would be such harmony and flow and ease and grace to everything. That is what we're surrendering to. This infinite intelligence, this loving presence is what we are surrendering to. So there is no judgment in Spirit. God has no favorites any more than the sun has favorites. I mean, the sun shines on the just and the unjust. The sun doesn't care who receives its luminosity, who receives its warmth. It doesn't care one moment about the choices that we made. or did not make, what we're doing now. It doesn't care what we look like. It doesn't care what our last name is, what the color of our skin is, what our sexual orientation is. It doesn't care about any of that. It just gives and gives and gives. And this is God. I was going to say personified, but it's not personified. It's God sonified. It's such a beautiful demonstration of what we are surrendering to, this loving presence that is always for itself, that is always for its own expansion, that is always seeking to come into ever greater and grander expressions. That the infinite love that God is, the peace that God is, the joy that God is, the harmony that God is, the wholeness that God is, the abundance that God is, may be revealed and expressed in ever greater and grander ways. This is what we are surrendering to. This is what we are surrendering to. And it's not out there at all. Because it is all there is, which means that we are one with it. We're never separate from it. We have never been separate. We never ever will be separate. Yes, we may have a perception of separation. We may have a sense of separation. But that's on us. That has nothing to do with the truth and the essence of who and what God is, what spirit is, what the universe is, what the higher power is, what energy is. Energy is all there is. God is all there is. The higher power is all there is. And it is loving. It is benevolent. It is good. So we get to move from my will be done to thy will be done. Trusting that that is for the highest good for us as individuals and for all of creation. Nothing in spirit, nothing in nature, I was going to say, nothing in nature is about my will be done. The lilacs in our garden, they have no preference as to how many flowers, how many petals, the color, how long or strong or and any attributes of their branches or twigs or leaves or anything like that. The eagle, and actually I was watching our cat just the other day, and I was just brought into the awareness that this cat, it has no perception of what it looks like. It doesn't care what it looks like. It doesn't care if it has patches of dark gray in its fur. It doesn't care if its whiskers are bent or cut off, or how many whiskers it has. Because it is in such tune with this loving presence, the essence of what it is, that it is enough. It is enough. And it is provided for. All of its needs are met. So there's no worry, there's no manipulation, there's no trying to make it happen, there is no forcing anything, playing roles, acting, deceiving. There's no competition, there's no comparison. It is such nature, and I'm including the cat in nature. Nature is in such profound and deep sense of oneness. Trusting, not consciously trusting, but still trusting that all is well, that something wonderful is happening, that everything is working for the highest good, that it is eternally sourced, fueled, funded for, provided for, that all of its needs are met in any moment. And look how beautifully that plays out. Look how beautifully that plays out. So there's nothing in life against us other than our own small and limited thought patterns, perceptions, judgments, thoughts as to what should and should not be, beliefs, stories. There's nothing in life against us other than when we are refusing to receive that which is eternally, lovingly, and graciously given by holding on to fears, worries, and doubts. By locking onto lower vibrations, by locking onto lower possibilities as opposed to the highest possibility. So we're invited to challenge whatever is keeping us, whatever is holding us captive in the sense of not trusting, whatever is hijacking our minds to stay in fear and worry and doubt. We're so wise to challenge that, to challenge those stories, to challenge those beliefs, to challenge everything and anything that is not in alignment with peace and freedom, anything that is not in alignment with ever expanding joy, ever expanding harmony and wholeness and beauty and abundance. We're so wise to challenge it all, because it is only when we bring into our awareness that we can truly set ourselves free. We cannot set ourselves free from something that we're not aware of, holding on to. But we need to become aware so that we may embrace and allow, so that we may release and let go, thus setting ourselves free. So what is holding us back? What is holding us captive? What is it that we're hijacked by? That's the questions we want to ask. These are the questions that we're invited to ask here and now. Thank you so much for tuning in, for participating as always. Until we meet again, with much love, many blessings. Namaste.